Welcome to Main Street Minds with your host, Amish Munshi. This is where industry leaders and seasoned pros share their secrets to success beyond limits. Let's dive in.
Hello and welcome to Main Street Minds. Today we have a very special guest, Christina, with us all the way from Carolinas. The place which I really would love to go ahead and visit and explore a lot more. And meeting with Christina helps me learn so much more about the region. So without any further delay, let's get started. Let's learn and explore everything about the great region. So Christina, tell us your secrets. How did you get started with real estate?
Well, I think the Carolinas is a wonderful place to live and reside and do business. Um, so I actually came from Tampa, Florida. I moved up here probably about 20 years ago. If you don't live in Florida and you stay on the East Coast, then the next place you live is going to be the Carolinas. So we relocated with work and we had a small family at that time. Now my family is a little bit more expanded. Um, and 20 years or so has passed, so it's been a super great experience being up here. Right now, the weather is shifting a little, so it's becoming cooler and more enjoyable, so it's not so hot. I know the California has pretty ideal weather in some cases. Sometimes in the summertime here in the Carolinas, it does get a little warm, but it's not as bad as it could be. So when I actually relocated up here from Tampa, I was in the mortgage industry actually. So I worked for a mortgage lender in different capacities for about 10 years. So about 2009, 2008, at that point, I went ahead and stopped working, just raised my children and my family full time. And then I stayed in the Carolinas. My husband continued to work, obviously. And once I was ready to get back into working, I went ahead, it was about 8 years ago or so. I decided to get my real estate license instead of working on the mortgage lending side. So I've been able to kind of see the full picture of what the process is like for clients. And it's been a great experience, and I think there's a lot of value in that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So it always helps to have the whole mortgage background as well to guide people in the right direction, right? Many people don't realize the lender is actually bringing 80, 90, sometimes 95% of the money to the table. And yes, it's still difficult to buy real estate. The first home is always the most challenging, but although it looks like a big investment, remember somebody else is bringing in majority of that money. Uh, and bringing it within 15-20 days on a property that they did not even select. So it's always interesting the way money gets allocated on a purchase. So what are some of the things you are observing right now in your market? Like is it more of a buyer's market? Are the rates impacting the buyers and sellers right now?
Just in the full scope of 2025 as a year, I can break it down by quarter. That's essentially how I measure my success. So the first quarter was super slow for me. We just didn't have a lot of certainty with the way the industry as a whole, what was going to be happening. So people were, in my opinion, super hesitant, reserved on picking up and moving forward with any offers and shopping for homes. This past quarter, so the one that just ended yesterday or recently, quarter three, that was actually going to be my strongest, which is typically the pattern. The second quarter, I would say, I typically in a year, I am a listing heavy agent, but it's pretty balanced for me right now. So what I'm seeing on the market is you do have buyers that are entering the market. A lot of them are moving with purpose, meaning relocation, familial changes, you know, maybe some downsizing. I don't see a whole lot of people upsizing. I think people are trying right now to kind of stay where they're at. And, a contributing factor to that is, of course, the low interest rates that we experienced a couple years ago. But here in the Carolinas specifically, we have a lot of new construction happening. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of movement with that because we still have a good economy in terms of the workplace. So people are relocating here with their jobs. So with that being said, that's one of those things that force you to purchase, right? So you're going to be moving in from Kentucky. I had a couple from Connecticut that I spoke with over the weekend that are coming down specifically because of a job relocation. The
Mhm.
company, the brokerage that I work with, they actually have partnerships and we can buy and sell internationally. So we do have a lot of people coming into the Carolinas. So that does help because we have super strong branding. And so the agents are, very highly skilled relocation agents that are available to help service buyers.
Nice, nice. So relatively, if I summarize, I think it's been a reasonably balanced year, right? Like, uh, people that really want to buy are buying, people that want to sell are actually selling. So that's great.
Yeah, I mean, we're having a little bit longer day on market. So
Hmm.
essentially, we still have homes that move super quickly. So those are going
Hmm.
to be things that, the sellers have put money into upkeep. They maybe have new roofs, new HVAC. I know that some of those basic maintenance things, typically, like they don't really give you a lot more value in comparison because they're maintenance things. Like, for example, your roof and your HVAC. But you will have value with things in terms of, updating your kitchen, your bathrooms, obviously having curb appeal. Those all contribute to getting buyers in more quickly. But if you're not doing the basic maintenance, it's going to be a hard struggle for you to get in front of buyers. I feel like the marketing aspect of what we do has just there's so
Yeah,
much more demand on agents now because we have to display a product that will bring buyers in just from looking online at things. So having your
yeah.
house like freshly painted, great carpet condition, things like that, a lot of decluttering, that those are going to be super impactful in getting buyers in.
Nice. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, obviously the 2020 2021 market kind of spoiled all of us. Like, if we just put anything out there and it sells. But I think right now it's going back a little bit to a little more normalcy, or a little more buyers being in more control of things. So I think it's relatively similar to some of the other markets that I'm seeing. The only place where I see a lot more traction happening is still like New York, New Jersey region, where it's still like people sending multiple offers and outbidding kind of the list price still. And I think that's the only region that's like kind of still more of a seller's market. But rest of the country, I think it's shifted way towards the buyer's market.
No, I would totally agree. I have friends that are licensed up north, northeast, and they do still have multiple offers. And we can get multiples here, but we have to be like at a reasonable start price.
Yeah.
Because like I said, we still have buyers coming in for work and things like that, and there's still growth. Statistically, you can look, the Carolinas are strong.
Mhm.
Um, but, obviously, there's going to be demand everywhere if the price is right.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So tell us more about like your journey. Like you did mention you like, I think you have more listings earlier, and I think right now it's a mix of both. What is it like working with both of them?
Either way, it's a complex thing. It's a trusting relationship. So I do feel strongly that this is a relationship business. You want to work with people that, are going to listen to what your goals are. They're going to be patient and really help you execute the decisions when it comes time to make those. So you want to be able to trust your agent. When I'm working with buyers, essentially, education up front is super important. Managing expectations as far as what the process is if they're
Hmm.
not quite in a position, credit score or asset wise, to make a move. I mean, there's just many ways and different opportunities of support that you can provide them just to get them aware so they can be more empowered to control their money and their own path and positioning in the market. Now, when it comes to sellers, of course, bringing them I don't want to say down a notch, but bringing them back to reality, setting the expectation of what the current market is. You're not going to necessarily get as much, like you mentioned, 2020. You're not going to be able to just put any product out and get a high response. So you do have to be delicate with preparing your house for market and pricing your home. So it's really, to me, it's about creating the trust and managing expectations to either side, the buyers or the sellers. And I think you'll have a successful journey.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So, and kind of just look forward looking like 2020, I can't imagine we are in October of 2025, right? I'm starting to think of 2026 now. Where do you see the market headed now? Like with hopefully another two rate cuts coming in this year, do you see more buyer demand coming back?
I do feel like we're going to have some demand. To me, we're entering the fourth quarter. It's going to get a little bit more sleepy. People's priorities are changing. They're wanting to spend their money on other things rather than a down payment. I don't know that that's the best financial decision for them because obviously, homeowners are statistically proven to be wealthier than people that rent. And it's
Yeah.
really because they have a little bit more discipline and they're building the equity instead of paying a landlord who that person obviously is um, building equity. But I do currently have investors that I'm working with, and they're purchasing properties here in the Carolinas, and they're going to be renting those out. So I think it's going to be a little bit sleepier as far as the push or the drive to enter the market as a buyer. Now, I still have people having pre-listing conversations with me. I've actually met with probably two people in the last 2 weeks, give or take, that they're looking to start the process in February. So essentially, I just kind of analyze their home. We look at the structural aspects of it, like, the age of water heaters, curb appeal. If I need to connect them with vendors like pressure washing, roof people, things of that nature, just to get the ball rolling. I do think that's going to set us up for an amazing first quarter. I think, like I mentioned earlier, my first quarter of 2025 was very, very slow. I do think I'm going to have a much stronger and more successful first quarter of 2026. So I think all of these right now, we're just planting some seeds. New construction building is going to slow down just because of weather. But I think that there's still, an undercurrent of movement happening. And I think it's still generally a very positive thing.
Nice. Yeah, that's extremely optimistic and like looking forward saying, hey, this is it's gonna be a good year. I think 2026 is gonna be much better than 2025. 2025 was like unpredictable, right? Like what is going to happen? No one really knew like are the prices just going to fall off the cliff? Are the rates going to come down? The expectation has just the waiting for the expectation, like the entire year has passed in just waiting. The buyers are hesitating, the sellers are hesitating. I think 2026 is going to be people like moving forward and making progress, saying, hey, waiting doesn't help anyone.
Yeah, I mean, there's still, profitability to be made in the market. So I think it's silly to give that up just because, you're waiting for and always refinance when the time is right. But don't lose aspect of what opportunity you have in front of you today.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, tell us a little bit more about like just switching gears a little bit. Tell us a little bit more about you. Like, what do you like to do in fun times? Do you like reading, traveling? What are some of your hobbies?
Well, right now I'm kind of on the other end of raising my family, like I said. So I have a child in college. I have two that are actually in the latter part of their education in the high school. So it's really just like spending quality time with them and prioritizing that. I do enjoy family is a big why for me. They're basically the reason that I push as hard as I do to grow and continue to show up and do business. We actually have a house in the state of Virginia that we hope to retire to at some point. So we do like to travel there. My college age student, she will be traveling abroad next year. So it'll be towards the very beginning of second quarter. I'm hoping to take me and my husband and my two other children over to where she's going to be studying so we can all have a good experience for like a week or so. She's going to be in the Barcelona, Spain area. And so it's going to be
Wow.
super fun for us to enjoy that international travel together. So it's a goal of mine for next year.
Yeah, perfect. It's gonna be amazing. I hope you get to go there like sometime in summer or spring, and it's the weather is just perfect there. It's pretty similar to I think majority of US as well, right? It's right at the same uh, latitude or longitude latitude, right? Yeah. So the weather is like very similar, and I think especially Spain, right? I think that the entire country is off for the month of August. I think the all businesses are off. Everyone is out on vacation for August, and I'm like, I want to go to Spain, but I'm going to try and avoid August. I'll go at like
Yeah,
July or September, but it's on my wish list. We were just at in it visiting other places, but Spain is something I want to do next year as well.
right. I like
Yeah.
to go basically East Coast type travel. We go to the beach, we go down to Florida, which is where I was, born, my hometown. So we just like to travel and spend time together as a family.
Nice, perfect. So yeah, hopefully it's a good trip and you get to spend more than a week. I know it's always
Yeah,
difficult to take time off from work and like do things, but it's well worth especially if it's summer time frame, right?
right.
So as we wrap up this conversation, are there any recommendations for the clients that you have, like
You,
any clients
you
or
know,
any team members that you're onboarding?
I am actually working towards training folks to enter the business as agents. I think there's unlimited possibility here. If you have a good work ethic and you feel like people very easily know, like, and trust you, I think that you can make this a very successful career. There's a lot of growth that's required and a lot of education and discipline. So you do have to have a few different characteristics that make you successful. If I can
Mhm.
identify that in somebody, I do tend to draw towards wanting to nurture them. I want to give
Mhm.
them the opportunity to essentially change their lives through this business, which I think is very possible. As far as customers, I feel like they really need to stay focused on what the goal is. There's a lot of distractions, a lot of pressure, but
Yeah.
home ownership can be made very simple for you. You can achieve it. You have to be disciplined, you have to be focused. But once you're there, it's such a great experience just to know that you have a place that's yours that is secure. There's a lot of people that have never owned a home and they may live their whole life never owning a home, but if you can create the discipline financially to put yourself in a position of home ownership, it is life changing, not just for yourself, but also for your family. So it's a legacy maker. So I think it's super, super important just to stay focused and to ask questions and to educate yourself.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So that's a very extremely big, valuable piece of advice for anybody listening. So, tell us a little bit more about how people can contact you if they want to like get in touch with you, get a second opinion on pricing, or they want to list their house, or they're looking to buy. Like, what's the best way they can reach you?
Well, I work for Howard Hanna Allen Tate here in the Carolinas. I'm licensed in both North and South Carolina, so I cover a wide range of territory or business that I'm able to transact business in and show properties in and to educate myself in different neighborhoods. There's lots to offer here in the Carolinas. As far as different types of property, different opportunities. So, when you're ready to connect with me, the best place is really going to be on LinkedIn. You would just go and search for Christina Geis, and then you'll see my information. I do tend to update there probably a couple times a week. And then, of course, you can just message me directly. But there's a lot of contacts and information that's available on LinkedIn. And if you're not on LinkedIn, of course, I do have Facebook and Instagram, but LinkedIn is probably the easiest and most consistent way for you to connect with me if you're wanting to potentially discuss real estate or if you want to talk about a listing strategy or even as a realtor to realtor, like the peer aspect of it. I'm happy to connect with agents as well, even nationally, because I do think there's a lot of value in understanding the full scope of what the industry offers here in the United States.
Yeah, that's extremely valuable. Thanks for sharing your contact info, and reach out to Christina if you're in that region, if you're doing any transactions, and you need if you're looking for mentorship or like selling or buying a house, reach out to Christina. Thanks, Christina. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thanks.
That's a wrap on today's episode of Main Street Minds. Want to share your journey with our audience? Head over to mainstreetmindspodcast.com/guest to apply.